Yo, Rosenberg, I want you to stand. You should stand up because sitting next to Pretty Lights, you look like a fourth grader.
I'm fine. I'm as big as Pretty Lights. Yo, Pretty Lights is here.
What's up?
I want to get into a couple things first. One, if you're watching this and you see the Hot 97 logo and you see Pretty Lights' name, you're like, what the fuck is happening? But it should be happening.
Bizarro world.
Not really, though. Not really. I've been into this guy, Pretty Lights, been following him on the internet. What was the name of the record did you use the record first or did FloRida rap on the record first? Which happened first? What was the name of that song?
My track was called Finally Moving.
Right.
I dropped it in 06.
Right.
Right. And it was like a sample collage track, Sonny Stitt and Etta James, and a bunch of other samples, you know.
Right.
And so it was definitely
you first.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and say, listen,
yeah,
Flo
7 years
listen,
ago, man.
Listen,
7 years ago first.
The guy Pretty Lights, he's basically, give us your backstory, and then I'm going to tell everybody why I asked that question, because you're like this humble guy who's out here probably making, I don't know, $200,000 a show or some ridiculous number.
It's only
and
sometimes.
You're a hip-hop producer.
It's not always 200,000 a show. I'm sure some days he settles for 100, 125.
We're counting your money.
Yeah, right. No, I don't. No, I don't.
So tell us the story. You're from Colorado.
Yeah, I'm from Colorado, middle of the country, man. I mean, like, nobody would guess that a hip-hop producer with this kind of style would come from Colorado, but since everybody toured through there, I got exposed to that music in every genre coming up, so that influenced my style. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I honed my production craft until I thought it was fresh enough to put out, and it was at least as good enough as what I was listening to, you know, what MCs were rhyming over or what other instrumental producers were doing. And that track, Finally Moving, was on my first record. And, you know, 6 years later, it got sort of like reflipped, and it wasn't just the same sample, because people use the same sample sometimes, and that's fine, that's cool, that's hip-hop, that's how it works. But when they use like the same two samples together in the same key,
oh no,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
wait, but and you didn't get it, and you didn't get paid for this.
No, I mean, I don't own
the samples.
The samples.
So in theory, people can be like, oh, I just use the same samples that you use.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think the story in here for me is there's a couple things with Pretty Lights. It's one, you saw how humble he was, and he didn't want to be like, yo, I did that. Someone else took it, rhymed over it, and basically sold millions of singles.
It was so this was a big FloRida song?
It was huge. I forgot.
It was global, man.
Feeling Good? Is that what it was?
Or Good Feeling.
Good feeling. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks. That's my guy. So, but the story in here for me is, you know, that record was huge for FloRida, not taking anything away from him. But Pretty Lights is seen as like this EDM DJ.
What do you call your music, though? You don't call it EDM. You call it?
Nah, man. I call it hip-hop electro soul.
Hip-hop electro soul, right.
And when you listen to the beats, if you're watching this right now, when you listen to the beats, get his new album. What's the name of the new album?
A Color Map of the Sun.
This is some get high shit, as you can see by the titles. But also, listen, like when I put Rosenberg, I was like, yo, listen to Pretty Lights. I'm telling you. Rosenberg was like, yo, he's just fucking, this is hip hop.
It's pretty hip hop. It's a really interesting conversation, though, because I'm always having these thoughts about what's good for hip hop, what's dangerous for it going to a place that we don't want it to go. Like, you know, getting too far away from what it is. And it's interesting because musically, I think Pretty Lights music fits right into good hip-hop music.
But it's categorized.
And culturally, it's in a different space, too. Like, you would agree that you have some fans who love hip-hop, but then you have some fans who probably don't love hip-hop or even know what the hell you're doing and how hip-hop it is.
Yeah, they have no idea about it, you know what I mean? They don't realize that because it's 90 beats per minute and because I'm sampling, you know, breaks that have been used or not been used by hip-hop producers, and like actually consciously putting hip-hop references and like throwbacks in my tracks, like a majority of like that scene never picks up on that, you know what I mean? But I mean, I'm consciously doing that in my production all the time, trying to throw back reference MCs or like past.
So you're nodding you nod to hip hop throughout your music, like that's what it is.
Yeah, all day.
100%. Like that's how when when I got exposed to it, I was like, wait, somebody was like, yo, you need to check out Pretty Lights. There's like this EDM thing is getting big. I was like, all right, I'll check it out. But I've always kind of been in electronic music anyway, and some, whether it's house or electronic music and its relation to hip hop. Like,
I want to hold up this whole EDM thing because it was like, I was never in the EDM circle, right? Like, I came up in Colorado. There was no EDM. The shit wasn't popping off. It was just me making these beats, playing these shows, and people were ready for it. They were ready to get hype. They were ready to come out to the shows and get live. And then eventually, I was waiting to see what circle, what genre it would pop off out in first, and I started getting invitations to like play electronic music festivals and eventually headline them. And it kicked up a little dust. People liked it, and next thing you know, I was headlining EDC, or one of the headliners, which is like one of the biggest electronic music festivals in the world. And it's like, it was dope, but it felt so strange for me because it was like Benny Benassi and David Guetta, were sandwiching me, and I was playing to like 70,000 people, dropping 90 beat per minute, like
boom bap. Yeah.
Bangers,
regular instrumental, like just dope instrumentals.
No, but how about this?
Just
When he
dope beats.
plays though, right? The crowd is straight on some hip hop shit. Like the crowd is like straight, like
Some of them.
Others have glow sticks
And are rubbing themselves.
Are rubbing their nipples and are out of their minds. However, what he's doing and the whole idea.
No, y'all are
is so
assuming
hip-hop.
that, man.
No, I saw it.
Okay.
I went to Bonnaroo. I saw
Yo,
it.
That's a
listen,
festival,
that
though.
was a festival.
Come to
Listen.
one of my shows.
That's true,
right?
different, that's
Come to one of my
different.
shows. There'll be
But I think the point I'm trying to make is, for me as a kid who I'm an 80s kid. I grew up in the 80s and all that shit. So all of that house music, all of those rock samples, all of that boom bap, all of that soul, R&B, funk, jazz has always been a part of hip hop for me. So now when I see this thing that someone tries to categorize it as something that's not hip hop, I'm quick to be like, no.
Why? And why do you, Ebro, like to keep it? Why do you want to claim? Because you're clearly trying to claim Pretty Lights. Why are you claiming Pretty Lights?
Because I want people to experience the same way I went on this whole rampage about Kanye West's album saving hip hop, right? Everybody was like, nah, it's not fucking hip hop. And I'm like, no, it is. You might think it's shit. You may not like it, and that's fine. But it's hip hop, the essence of it. And because I love hip hop and I love what it represents and I love what it's been able to accomplish as a culture. So I just don't like when people try to take shit from us, is how I feel.
Well, you're obviously on a whole other level, like you understand what hip hop is and you speak from a position where you should be listened to and people should learn from you. You know what I'm saying?
I'm also in the same position where people hate you. You fucking asshole.
Well, you're annoying, generally.
And then there's that.
And you're an asshole. But your point about music is accurate. And I think it's... My brother was saying... Because I've been on this big kick about like all these kind of like white rappers who have been coming out recently who are playing for a white audience. And like it starts to make me nervous. I'm like, damn, are we getting to a time where it's going to be all white rappers performing in front of all white audiences? Yeah. And that freaks me out because what drew me to hip-hop was this different experience and getting to appreciate another culture, not just stay within myself. Can you make the same argument, I guess, about your kind of music? Like, I don't think you can. I think it's different because I think the music you're making is somewhat, although experimental, the roots are somewhat traditional black music roots. So to me, it's a different conversation.
That's the whole quandary. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's grown, and the audience is primarily white, right? But the music that I'm working with and the influences that I have and that I'm manipulating and putting together, they come from traditional black heritage music. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and I think that's the big difference.
The 20s through the 70s, and like that's what's so beautiful about hip hop to me, is that anything can be manipulated and massaged and collaged together to make fresh hip hop production. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I love it, and that's why I do it. But like, you're right. I have the same feeling. Like
when you see these rappers and I'm not dissing anyone specifically, and people think I'm talking about Mac Miller. I'm not. The thing about, I'm not talking about Mac Miller or Macklemore for that matter, actually. But there are a lot of others who are new, and their experience that they're rapping about is like this totally suburban, boring experience, in my opinion, with fans who are just like them, being like, I relate. I know what it's like to not get the car you wanted on your 16th birthday. And I'm like, is that really hip hop? Like, is that part of the hip hop conversation?
I mean, I think that, and I appreciate what you guys are all, everyone's saying on this. I just, my whole thing is I want all of the conversations, whether it's that one, whether it's that one, whether it's, you know, I want it all. Just Blaze, remember we had a sit down. Just Blaze, this kid Dropped the Line was up here. Max Glazer was here, and I forget the other brother that was up here. We had a beat battle here in New York. It was put on by Red Bull, and we had a conversation about this EDM term. And Just Blaze was like, look, dude, anything created on a computer is electronic. And if you can dance to it and it's music, it's EDM. He's like, Wu-Tang is EDM. Technically, it was made on a computer. EDM is meaningless. And I've learned from speaking to yourself or even Green Lantern, who's venturing out and doing some stuff, that like in this DJ performance world, I guess how we would term it, EDM is like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, nobody even categorizes themselves that way. Is that true?
Are you the artists not categorize themselves as that?
Yeah, it's like we want to not touch it with a 20-foot pole. You know what I'm saying? It's
Other ones too, though, the other big ones as well. Like, not just you. You can speak for some of your colleagues.
No, I mean, I don't know. It depends. You know, I can speak for the artists on my record label because we're all trying to like do this hip hop thing, you know, and fuse it with elements of electronic music. And I get what you're saying about what Just Blaze said. That makes sense. That's kind of true. But at the same time, that's not what people are really talking about when they say EDM. Right. They're talking about dance music. Music made specifically to make you dance in the live setting or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know, Wu-Tang, EDM, RZA wasn't producing beats to make people dance. He was producing beats to get like his clan to flow like proper on it, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's the intention of the music as well, you know? And like the intention of my music is to, you know, make people move, you know, kinetically is part of it, but it's a small part of it. You know, I want people to feel something emotionally, but then I also want it to, you know, inspire people. And so it's like music, it can speak to people on so many different levels. And it's like, I feel like EDM is a type of music that focuses on a very specific type of musical power, the power to make people move.
But it's funny, but you would say that other EDM artists focus more on the dance part than you do. You lean more towards feeling in the soul, and dance comes with that. But you don't lean, because some people you would say in electronic music are making music predominantly for shake your ass to this. You don't necessarily do that.
I mean, I feel like right now in the EDM scene or the whatever trap, dubstep scene, whatever, that people are making beats for that instant gratification of hands in the air, you know, like screaming crowds of people, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, I tried to take a left turn away from that and make tracks that are just fresh, you know? Like we were chatting before this about, you know, tracks you want to freestyle to or like put on in your ride and just, you know, like MCs can write to it, you know, or whatever. Like that's the kind of music it is. You feel it, you know, you can listen to it any time of the day. It doesn't have to be, you know, in a big arena with 20,000 people with glow sticks, you know, and rubbing each other's nipples, like you said, man. It's not like
sweating and rubbing nipples.
So last question. Sorry. So the EDM, maybe we don't like about the EDM label is the EDM label just a way to allow a certain kind of fan base to say, you'll like this kind of music. It's for you. Come and enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to classifying it as hip hop, which has a different connotation. Does that make sense?
That's why I'm, like you said, why am I like, yo, no, this is hip hop.
Because you don't like
it's
that.
Because I don't want, hip hop has become synonymous with bad. Hip hop has become synonymous with, you know, only one thing. And my experience growing up with hip hop is hip hop was everything. Like he spoke about a second ago, it was the other way. right? And now we're here today and people go, well, it's your fault, Hot 97. You only play this one type of music. Well, we play what people respond to and what gets us ratings so we can sell advertising, and hopefully we can try to incorporate other sounds. But when we get there, people get scared. And A$AP Rocky and Skrillex, a Kanye West. We try to get more of these newer sounds in that are coming out of the clubs and coming out of these festivals, but the audience isn't ready sonically. Their palate isn't ready there, so we gotta spoon feed them. And my concern is that one day we live in a world where it'll be like, yeah, remember hip hop?
That's
because it's been limited so much.
I feel like this I mean, like what we're talking about, EDM, like we're forgetting something, that like EDM, the term was developed or came up with a long time ago, you know, in the late 90s or whatever, the early 90s, and it stayed the same, and it tried to describe a certain time of music, but music evolved that whole time, and it evolved outside of those boundaries, you know what I mean? So the terminology to describe it just didn't change as the music changed, you know what I mean?
That's interesting.
So it's like music evolves, and the way it evolves is by fusing genres and fusing different styles in order to come up with new styles, and that's what's been happening, and it's been happening at a more momentous rate because of technology being available to younger people, more people to produce and to be creative. You know, that's why you're seeing more suburban hip-hop rappers that eventually blow up, I think, you know what I mean? It's like that evolution of technology and music in general, and it's just, who gives a fuck about the word EDM, you know what I'm saying? Like, my music is EDM, it is hip-hop, it is soul, it is
without boundaries,
chill out. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's
good
just
shit,
good
bro.
music,
just
man.
Good
it's
shit,
just
bro.
good shit.
Yo, real quick, not to put you on the spot, but to put you on the spot. Pretty Lights.
Put me on the spot.
You don't have to go in order, but name 5 of your favorite all-time hip-hop producers.
Hip-hop producers. Well, Josh Davis, DJ Shadow, who is a hip-hop producer, but not necessarily.
Northern Cali, what up? UC Davis.
Bay Area.
Well, he's also, God, I didn't even think about Shadow, how much of an influence he is to
DJ
the whole,
Shadow.
to a lot of this kind of fusion stuff.
Yeah, Premier, no doubt. Ant from Atmosphere.
Interesting.
Massive. Trying to think. Just Blaze, who you mentioned. And can I call Hudmo a hip hop producer now?
I'm with it. I'm with it. Why not? Why not? Let's do it. Pretty Lights is here. The album is out. Download it, buy it. And in true hip hop fashion, for you MCs out there who want to rhyme, this is the album to jack and rhyme over. He makes plenty of money performing, so he's not worried about.
Well, you're giving people the option too. Like, you can buy it or download it for free, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So you have the option to get it for free. But he told me the other day, he said it's for free, but he is very confident in the sales that your fans are going to generate, even though you're giving it away.
Yeah, I'm asking people to go online and buy it if they can. Yes, because
but if they can't,
if they can't, yeah, I want you to get it from me. I don't want you to get it from some other dude on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I want to supply that. And the whole other thing that we haven't spoke to is that the record has another record that comes with it. This, like, all the original.
I didn't know this.
Okay, there's a second disc.
Yeah, it's 2 discs. I got it in the mail yesterday. I saw it's 2 discs.
Yo, Randy, what the fuck, bro?
What's the section?
I only got the little link thingy.
Okay, so the whole thing is like, I made a record where I didn't want to sample. I didn't want to go dig the crates in all the record stores. I wanted to make my own wax to sample from. So I was trying to make 20s to 70s to early 80s type music from every genre, every time period, so I could sample my own wax and do it in that way. So I made like 60 full LPs, one-of-a-kind pieces of wax to chop, right? And the second disc is like the cream of the crop of those LPs that I took. It's just like these straight stereo analog tape recordings that like about the record, you're saying MCs, jack it, record, rap on it. That's dope. But the other thing is the second disc is like for producers, and I'm like, take it. It's like it's hot samples. It's hot samples, man.
That you
and like
made.
that, yeah.
Well, you play an instrument.
Instruments.
Oh, which ones?
I saw you play bass
Name
at
it,
Bonnaroo.
man.
You played bass at Bonnaroo, right? And at the jam.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah, that's how I started bass. I mean, like a lot
That's
of
your primary.
a lot of producers start with playing bass.
Okay.
But
Okay,
I
what
mean-
else can you mess with though?
I mean, as a producer, I can play guitar, whatever. I mean, whatever I need to play in order to make a melody for a
sounds and
track.
things
You know
that
what I'm
you
saying?
like
I'm
to
not some virtuoso on
You
all
all
that
say
shit.
that.
I can play flute decently.
Really? Ebro plays the skin flute.
I do.
No, you don't.
I don't. But I wanted to go along with
Let's
the joke.
not jam.
Let's not jam. Okay, so that's pretty cool though. Like you may play it down and be like, oh yeah, well I can just play a little bit, but being able to use those instruments well enough to make good songs, like actual songs, is still pretty virtuoso. That's still pretty good.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, like what was so cool and unique about this record was that I brought in all these virtuoso players, and then they would start jamming out and like playing together, like making some music on the fly, and I would go out and like have a smoke or something, come back in, and the music will be like literally hurting my ears, man, because that's not what I wanted, and I'd have to like pick up the mic and be, everybody stop, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is not what the fuck we're doing here. Like, I didn't bring you in to shred on the guitar and the keys. So I brought in these wicked players to like be able to do the simplest of things the perfect way, so precisely, over and over again, because I was trying to make breaks. Not whole soul tracks. I was trying to make the soul breaks, and I was trying to make the jazz breaks, and I was trying to make the blues, that 8 bars or that 2 bars.
But then naturally, because they're dope musicians, they just start going in.
Yeah, they keep
And that's
going.
what I had to be like, no, stop. So I spent, 15 minutes with a guitar player trying to get him to strum it the right way. Be like, okay, it's G minor 9, but you got to strum it at this speed. No, that's too slow. That's too fast. You got to this pressure. You know what I'm saying? Like, finger it here. And we work on it.
Did they want to kill you?
At first, they were like super skeptical and super like, what the hell are you doing? Like, I know what I'm doing. I'm me. I can shred this instrument. But then afterwards was when they were able to reflect on the sessions and be like, damn, something really special just happened. And a lot of these musicians came out having learned that less actually is way more, and they would, after the session, come in, listen to the playback, and be like, what? And the shit is hot. That's the second disc. It's just like the untouched
I got
hot
fucked.
shit.
I think you can get
screwed.
it.
I got you, bro.
Hey,
I'm
Ebro.
kidding.
I'm
Listen.
gonna trade you my disc for a Samsung GS4.
Fuck you and the ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know about the Samsung GS4 story, Rosenberg is not getting one because he dissed Jay-Z's whole New Rules movement.
I didn't diss it. I critiqued it. And I
You said it was shit.
You dissed
I
it?
don't know if I dissed. I don't think I went that
He
far.
did. I tried to. Jay going around the whole Billboard thing and saying, "Look, I'm gonna just sell my shit. Samsung's buying my shit. RIAA is gonna certify me platinum just because I sold 1 million copies to Samsung. Samsung then gives you the app for free, and then 1 million people get to download the album." He dissed that whole marketing thing because he was like, "Fuck Jay-Z making more money."
I didn't say that wasn't. You're oversimplifying my argument.
Well, I don't think that you should try to like get around it. Like, you said what you felt, and like,
No,
man,
I just want
I agree with it, man. Like,
I
I
just want
love
the phone.
Jay, but like, and I love that, but like that whole method, like,
There's something icky about
there's
it, right?
something that makes me not feel good about it. Yes.
Well, it was the same thing where him and we debated. The corporation was really the issue. So now the corporation, Samsung, gave me 70 phones, GS4s. So I took care of literally as many people on staff.
I mean, there are janitors who got one.
Interns got free phones.
Interns are getting phones. I'm like, I just want the phone. I just want to play
And
the
I'm
phone.
like, no, you get
They
nothing.
gave you 70 phones.
70 phones. Guaranteed with the album in it. We gave them to listeners, of course. But Rosenberg, now that he sees everyone getting phones, now it's not icky anymore.
No, it's still icky. I just want the phone.
Listen.
No, it's icky, man. It doesn't feel good.
Icky.
It's just like there's so many things that happen like that have some underlying ethical question to it, like whether or not.
Because couldn't Jay, if he wanted to, for the sake of argument, if Pretty Lights can pull off what he's doing, why couldn't Jay do what he's doing? He could give away,
Jay could give it away for free.
everything. If you want to buy it, buy
Absolutely.
it. Hey, if you want to buy it, give money to charity. I'll give you the album. There's a lot of things he could do that I think would have been more like mind blowing, and this is so cool. It was a great business decision for Jay-Z.
Yes.
Which is what he does.
Yes.
But the fact that
He's
everyone
true to form.
But everyone
Everything he's ever told us about him since the beginning
is true.
I get money, I slang this rap shit instead of drugs, and I'm gonna continue to do so and have the baddest wife and ride off into
Yeah, and
sunset.
it's amazing, and I'm happy for him, and his life's incredible. But the fact that everyone in hip hop, when he does it, just needs to be like, "Oh my God, bravo!"
No. I don't think that's true either. I just think, back to you, you're not getting a phone.
All right, shut up. You
That's
know
what
what?
this is about.
Pretty Lights album. What's the
You got
album?
a phone for me, dog? I'll still get the phone, but
We're hooking Pretty Lights up with a
No,
GS4.
no, no.